Eli Roth attempt to break into a different type of studio movie, and it just didn't work out. The production was a disaster, and he immediately ran back to making a cheapo schlock slasher film. That's what he actually enjoys. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
Because it doesn't seem like anyone involved with this movie cared. It's one of those movies. I know it's like a cliche at this point to say something feels like it was like AI generated, but if any movie has ever felt like something cobbled together by AI, it's this. Every like tired cliche, every tired type of like character, like archetype, they're all in there in one of those, the worst type of plot, which is we have to go to the place to get the thing. The Rise of Skywalker plot. We got the thing, now we have to go to the other place to get the next thing.
Yeah, like
maybe that's the plot of the video game. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I never even heard of the video game. Yeah. Never even seen anything until the movie came out. And I saw some pictures.
Yeah,
we'll talk about casting in a minute. But the video game, so it felt like, yes, here's the scene. Let's move to this location and have an action scene. It did feel like while playing the video game in an hour and 40 minutes. It's like, oh, here's the exposition scene followed by action scene. You know, whether it's the psychos attack them, they have to go along. A monster comes out of the thing. Mm-hmm. The Red Guard or whatever they're called come in and attack, and then they go.
You can set your watch by when the action scenes start.
You could.
Now's the point. Yeah. Here we go.
Then yeah, pretty standard science fiction-y plot. Ancient race or Aurelians or Aurelians, something like that, have a vault of ancient wisdom, and everyone tries to unlock it.
Opening voice of Kate Blanchett to explain everything. But then she continues for like the first, 20, 30 minutes of the movie. She has other voiceovers, and then it just disappears for the rest of the film. And all those early voiceovers, she's explaining things that we can understand is already happening in the movie, just visually. So it's very like, I don't know if they threw that in there to try and make it make sense.
Still this decision.
The vault. What is supposed to be in the vault? Well, it's something very open. Again, I don't even want to get to the vault.
Ancient times, very sophisticated. Orions. They rule the galaxy. Started racing the galaxy and run away. Humans descended from them, or humans of them, and just kind of stressing together. Technology floating around. It's very Star Trek to me. It's like an ancient civilization, have this amazing technology that we're trying to duplicate in time. Second, I totally understood it.
Everyone, for years, decades, and people have been thousands of years trying to find this vault. Characters who are trying to get to the vault. And it's presented there's some sort of stakes to get to the vault.
Yes, there are.
What are the stakes?
The stakes is that Atlas,
yeah,
if you get this technology that's in the vault, it's very rapid, like conquer the galaxy. Yes, they see it. They say Atlas gets and he's going to use it to make. They say it in the film. It's the same on Raiders of the Lost Ark. But you don't want Hitler to open the door. That all the guns all the world. You don't want Hitler. That's the plot. When Hitler, Atlas is the bad guy. He has an army. The technology has a scoop. Full Star Trek. Post-apocalyptic science fiction model.
Looks like I watched this.
I imagine she has voices of captains. I'd be hired to go find. I'm thinking like the legend of Key and a true person relative to daughter. It was the one just to everyone.
Oh yeah, like I'm my mother. And I knew you. Oh,
Yeah. Well,
the main character. That's the twist revelation of the movie is that she's chosen.
yeah, but also, I know nothing about the game. I know the characters in the which typically the first woman, the wife and not he was not she was also associated with demons, or you call her she devil, and then she's always depicted with red hair and like
Yeah,
it's a little oh yeah, and then the little
I mean, look at the different project. You know, one that has strong, powerful woman together.
So here's the problem. Just get on the weekend. Okay. It's a fairly
Oh yeah,
It's not
oversteer.
super inventive or clever. There's no fun to it. Like you know the James Gunn Guardians movies always have some kind of fun action scene where he flows into mode and suddenly pops up and the camera and things and you can get
and they're inventive.
it.
Happen along the way. Here, it's like to get to the place. Psycho, Mad Max films.
Yeah.
And so in this spot. That's what I say. AI technology. It's like
Right.
it looks like poorly.
Action.
Yeah.
You know, if you're want to watch action, like it's like
It doesn't. Yeah.
but also, I think there is a point in the first like 10 minutes where I was
Hey man, heck, this got good engines.
and I knew that was fun. Because the very first scene of one of the quote daughters on Atlas, the spoiler alert, Atlas is using an ancient drop of Aurelian blood of DNA to clone and the true daughter of Aurelian to have both. She is not in fact his daughter, she's just one of many fabrications that in this speech we don't know what we get. So the scene opens with Kevin Hart, who's a soldier of someone, and he's there to steal her or rescue her or kidnap her. I don't know what, but they blow the gun up and Kevin Hart. It's just like flat close-up shots, and she's like, "Oh, what's his name? Like Bernard or
Is Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart to the Kevin Hart." And he's like, "I'm here to save you, or take you away, get you out of this prison." Oh, so my father sent his shortest soldier? Now, how do you shoot that, Jay?
Yeah. Just saying, you don't put a lot of you can see Kevin Hart. We haven't seen it.
Right.
The only thing Kevin Hart is famously very tiny.
You got to add a quarter of oil each time to an RS7.
They're all like, they shot all
Eli Roth.
Come over this afternoon and make a movie. Great. So, yeah, there were many. I wish I had a pen and paper.
Yeah, I want to take notes on my phone.
I guess we could have been listening because there's no one else in the big picture.
I could have taken out my phone and taken my phone, but I didn't.
Right.
Looking in the top row. That was the time for them to playing solitaire. Because everyone else calls down on that. They were looking at their phones, but I only did that, but I knew for sure that I would not be bothering anyone else during the correct.
You have to put a screen breaking down apart.
Yeah. I was way up high. There was no. I would never had. And there was in the middle. Probably line of sight. I didn't know.
Yeah, one guy.
I was trying to take on notes because I'm like, since you can't shoot it like that, you move this around the other parts that were like, was this a humorous movie? Was it made for children? Because all the Jack Black was on all super like,
Yeah, when there's family,
keep saying things, keep talking and all that, right? And I was like, well, he wasn't a funny stuff. And maybe that you might have made like 6 to 8 year olds now with some of those bits. And some jokes. There's a growing reason for jokes, but
so much. It's now.
it was more to find that. But anyone but a probably. And then
And I have no idea if that's an accurate portrayal of that character. I did see casting.
yes,
I saw not to be the video game because like the character, the role of this character is Kate Blanchett in the movie, and it's the character from young hot in the video game. I think Eli Roth has based on this movie. Kate Blanchett, Jamie Curtis. Yeah, you're showing technically. Human in society.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I will say, like on paper, I support the idea of like doing something different. Where you have a bunch of like mature women in your movie, just because it's different. But everybody's just cast. Kate Blanchett, one of the best actors of the day, but she's not this character, whatever this storyboardy, smart-ass character. You know,
very, very miscast, very awkward.
it felt like
Almost like a bad actor.
yeah. It reminded me of like on SNL when they do not the live skits, we take like interviews and stuff, and you have the celebrity guest of the week and kind of like that. Like it's funny that she's playing this type of character because she never would. This is too classy and beautiful.
Yeah, I did see that interview. It was just like and
it wasn't about changing age. I'm reading and thinking about the game. I'm thinking about the movie. Who are the best actors? And you're talking about the best actor in the world. You know, you go out to Kate Blanchett. She said, "Yeah."
And it's like, well, it's not really ageism. If you look at it that way, it is. But from a movie perspective, like, it was just weird. I thought she was just too old for that type of part because she's doing like action flips and she's being thrown around and there's a couple.
She barely looks like she knows what she's doing in those scenes.
Right.
She probably didn't.
She's a different type of actress. And she's talking to Jamie Lee Curtis, and her mother gave her to Jamie Lee Curtis when she was young. And I'm like, you guys are like the same age. They're like 10 years apart.
Yeah.
But like, how old is Kate Blanchett? She born in like 1970. She's like,
I don't know,
55.
Yeah,
54. And Jamie Lee Curtis is like 65, I would say. And so there's like, I don't know.
Kate Blanchett would have been better in the Jamie Lee Curtis role because Jamie Lee Curtis definitely didn't know what she was doing in those.
She gave it the most effort.
She was being like enthusiastic just because she's Jamie Lee Curtis. That's the general aura she gives off, but she didn't look like she knew what the fuck was going on either.
No. And then Kevin Hart didn't do anything funny, which is odd. Like,
well, I wasn't sure what his character was. Everybody else had that like generic archetype. Like
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett, she's basically like a Star-Lord. You have the comical robot, C-3PO, Jar Jar Binks.
And the Drax guy is the big,
There's a Drax equivalent.
without the humor.
Without the humor, he just goes. He's like Bane in the Schumacher movie or something. But then Kevin Hart's just kind of there. He was a soldier. Did he revolt? Where did he come from? What's his story? He doesn't have like anything to work with.
Roland is a guy who has a narrative attached to an agenda of good, right? And his agenda of good comes from once upon a time being a part of something that wasn't so good, that he felt that he had to detach from because of where his life is taken him. And in this new place of living, in this new place of life, there's a found respect for the place of Pandora and for the things that possibly could be attached to it or to it, where he can be part of the conversation of making better.
But he wasn't funny.
No.
He didn't make jokes, and which is good because I didn't want him like cracking wise the whole time. Just put him as the voice of the robot.
Sure.
Get rid of Jack Black. He's irritating.
Hey, this is only the second most embarrassing thing Jack Black has done this year. So, like, confused-looking actors aside, it's like a competently made movie. Everything is like it wasn't like a mess. It wasn't like a disaster.
No.
But it's just not very inspired, like with the way it's shot and the pacing of it and all that stuff. And that I was thinking about that because it looks like an expensive movie. Obviously, there's lots of big sets and effects and stuff, and they're not like terrible. There's no real bad effects in the movie, but everything felt so like artless as far as like the set design and set decoration goes.
Yeah.
Well, just in like cluttered, and not cluttered in like a way that has any sort of style to it. It just looked like cluttered and ugly. Every set, it reminded me of like a lot of the like, I don't know, like bloated '90s movies, like Tank Girl or like Judge Dredd. It reminded me of those.
You butt smear. What did I tell you? Don't say butt smear.
With Walmart gifts for under $25, get the gift that shows you get them.
Migraine strikes. Do you question the trade-offs of treating? Ubrelvy is another option. It works fast, and most have migraine pain relief within 2 hours. You can treat it anytime, anywhere.
A lot of money was flowing, and it just feels like there's no harder stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't really think about that, but it's kind of model kits. Yeah.
Oh, they actually pulled me back to cross.
Using the ball on the screen. These guys stop doing the ball. All of them.
Only people in existence have recreated
Yeah, landscape, they kind of recreated like large versions of the observation for the distance and then monster. When it comes down, the ground out.
And it's like one of the big monsters. You know, like the guy who's actually,
It's an actor character was artist, go out and monsters directly. There's none of that one where
station that also looks exactly like that. In Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So they're hoping that Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And the whole thing is it eats bad. Which is a weird concept. And then Rocket steals the batteries and then eats the batteries. Weird things actually out of the story. It's not just monster. We have to shoot at it now and then move on to the next thing.
If you drove the car through it, they jumped the car and then they shot a missile and exploded the back and they drove out the back.
That's exactly what happened. That's literally what happened.
Yeah, it's just like a I don't want to say a poor man's Guardians of the Galaxy, an uncreative man's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's
get it. That's Thanksgiving. Lots of stuff to talk about. Let's get to the title of the stream that I was peer pressured into doing. I was peer pressured by my podcast co-host to cover this story, which I plainly think is wrong. So I'm just going to read it. I'm going to shoot it straight on this one. This is not what Circle Jerk America is all about. This is not this is outside of our purview, and we're not experts on this kind of stuff. Although
I'm leaving the room actually.
Zach is going to go back to analyzing the footage. He's been overnight. He's been analyzing and breaking down all the footage. He's been trying to match faces, match skin tones. He's been doing it all. I'm going to read the story straight. Alleged sex tape of streamer Destiny Nick Fuentes services online. And the tweet guy here says, I have watched this dozens of times, and I do think it is them.
It's funny.
Like, I don't have an opinion on any of this. You go.
Yeah, no, I was also watching it from some right-wing channel called Camelot 331. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this guy?
No, does he cover all those sex tapes or something?
I don't know what he usually covers. He definitely seems to be right wing, but he was talking about the story. I was listening to it on the car ride over, and he's like, and trust me, guys, I spent the last 50 hours combing through this footage. It's Destiny. It's
real DJs have known this for a long time.
I'm glad that someone else did the public service, so I didn't have to look through the videos. But Camelot 331 is saying that it's pretty much all been confirmed. So,
yeah, but the chat here is saying it's not. That they're saying that it's someone else.
Well, that's what I get for trusting a right winger.
Yeah, I mean it's all alleged. That's why I put alleged in the title of the stream too. You know, but let's say what if even if it were true, you know, I'm firmly against any kind of revenge or anything like that. And I guess then people are saying, what if this were true? What would the politics of this be? Is this giving in to the fascist right? Am I not allowed to have sex with someone with different politics? I think that's the core question that I'm trying to cut at here.
Well, I think for one, part of the hypocrisy would be that Destiny's been going after people like Hassan for anti-Semitism. To find out that he was literally sucking the cock of the world's most known, or at least America's most well-known Nazi, be a little bit ironic, probably worth knowing.
But what if it was a really like toothy blowjob? Like you were kind of like, it was like you're getting one on him, you know? Because we don't know the politics of this.
Well, it could have been a public service, Gavin. And here's what I we don't, you know what? And the other thing is that, you know, point of personal privilege here, you know, I've never been, you know, the kind of guy that would sleep with a Nazi, but Destiny seems like he might be down pretty. We don't know what kind of options he has, right? And you know, we have to talk about, do you have the right to stoop as low as you possibly need to in order to take care of what all three of us would agree is a fundamental human activity. Right. And
it's fundamental.
The weird thing about this is because there's been all these Destiny leaks coming out. It's not just about the Fuentes thing. For like a week or so, and I'm not really sure who's behind it. Some people seem to think Destiny himself is behind it. But I'm like, what is really the point of leaking 50 hours of your sex tapes, some of which apparently are just him jerking off. Like, unless he just wants the attention that comes from being in the news because of a sex tape. So that's fair. Obviously, he wouldn't be the first person to do that. But in that case, it's not even so much revenge porn, right? If he's the one that leaked it.
It's avenge. You're avenging for yourself. You're
Right.
Avengers of leaking your own shit.
So it definitely is weird, but a lot of people do seem to think that Destiny leaked it. And Zach, if you want to share that video that I sent you earlier, we have Destiny acknowledging.
I like this angle, Gavin. I like this angle.
I think if you see this video from Destiny, you'll get what I'm throwing down.
And shouts out again to Camelot.
This guy reminds me a lot of that Doctor Who that you like to, not Doctor, what's his,
Dr. Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect.
Who's now on Rumble. Dr.
A
Disrespect now on
cursory
Rumble.
glance. I get Dr. Disrespect vibes from this individual, but I don't want to put anything on him.
So here is Destiny's response, and the way his facial expressions and his body language is leads credence to the fact that maybe he was the one that leaked it. There is no evidence behind that, but let's hear what he has to say.
Obviously, I'm not going to do a whole deep intro or whatever.